How do we give the iPhone's digital video the beautiful look of film? Well, the look of film is softer than digital video. The image is less sharp and there's generally less contrast. So here's how you get this look using your iPhone and Filmic Pro. First thing is to set your frame rate to 24 frames per second. So open up camera settings and tap frame rate. Now tap 24. So you want to make sure that your shutter speed stays at 1/48 of a second, and you can set it and lock it. So open up the manual controls by tapping this button here. It's like a circle inside a broken circle. Now you have shutter speed on the left at the bottom and ISO left at the top. Drag the wheel up and down until shutter speed says 1/48. Tap it to lock it and it turns red. And now when you drag the wheel up and down, it only changes the ISO setting. We want to keep the shutter speed at 1/48 because this creates that nice motion blur in the image. Faster shutter speeds reduce motion blur and they make the image look kind of more harsh on the eye. So logically, the only way you can now set exposure is by adjusting the ISO. So what do we do if it's too bright and we can't lower the ISO any further? So then our only option is to reduce the light hitting the sensor. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to use an ND filter. So an ND filter blocks some of the light. It's like putting sunglasses on your camera. And this allows you to reduce the light hitting the sensor without pushing the shutter speed too high. So these are ones that were sent to me by Sandmark. Now the standard aspect ratio that we generally see when we're watching a video is 16:9, and that's kind of a default. But you might want to choose a more widescreen option, which is a bit more cinematic. So to do this, just tap the cog icon, open up the settings menu and tap resolution. And now you can choose a different aspect ratio. And if you toggle on crop source to overlay, then Filmic Pro will output your video in that widescreen ratio. Now, if possible, use software that allows you to reduce the digital sharpness and also add a kind of faded film effect. For this, I use Adobe Premiere. So that's basically it. That's how to create the film look. Now check out my motion blur.